Hey guys, welcome back to Jensen's Reptiles. I'm going to be doing a kind of care video today on corn snakes. A couple of people asked if I could make a video about corn snakes in particular, so here we go. I'm just going to run through their basic care and I'll show you the corn snakes that I have. I just fed them yesterday, so I'm not going to do any handling today, but if they're willing, I'll show you. So this is my corn snake Jack. He's just having a little yawn there. There he is. So this is his enclosure. It's a 3-foot pteropod. I do plan on moving all of my corn snakes into a 4-foot enclosure at some point in this year. But for now, this is what we've got. So, first things first. Corn snakes are really good escape artists. So I'd recommend that any enclosure you keep them in is well secured. I have a lock on mine. But these wedges are also really good. If you don't want a lock, you can just use these. Put them anywhere and they stop the glass opening. So those are great. I choose to use a lock. The only reason I've got the wedge in this is because the lock is quite loose at the moment. So if I open this up, rule of thumb with any snake is you want to have at least 2 hides. So Jack has a hide here, which is just a piece of cork overturned, and he likes to make that his own. So he'll go in there and move the substrate around. You kind of want to put lots of coverage so they can hide. They're not particularly nervous snakes, but they can be, so give them what they need. As far as lighting goes, I use LED lighting, and that works wonderfully. They don't require UV lighting, but to be honest, I think any reptile would benefit from it, so if you want to use UV lighting, then that's a bonus for you. Corn snakes are brilliant climbers, so as an adult and even for the young ones, I try to use branches and things like that so they can climb and go under them and in and out. Water bowl, necessary for all animals obviously, so Jack's got a nice big bowl here, and always with fresh water. The substrate I use is Lignocell. I had a few people ask. I get it here from any online reptile store, and even on Amazon they sell it as well, so if you want a link or anything, just let me know and I'll give that to you. So yeah, back to hides. Jack has a hide over here as well. This is the Exoterra hide. These are made of resin, so I have them right under the heat source. You can see there, that's a ceramic heater, and Jack's hide is right underneath. The resin will hold heat really well, so if he wants to sit on top of it, it would almost be like a heat mat. So yeah, so that's how I have most of their hides set up. They're either, the hide is on a heat mat or under a ceramic heater. Temperature gradient for corn snakes, I have my hot end at about 28 degrees, and my cool end usually sitting around 23 or 24, sometimes as low as room temperature, depending on the time of year. These corn snakes are found in mainly North America, so you can imagine the wide variety of temperature gradients that they would have there. Corn snakes feed mainly on mice. I wouldn't recommend feeding them rats purely because they're a bit too fatty and these snakes have a tendency to put on weight very quickly. An adult corn snake like Jack here can be fed a large mouse every 2 weeks. I have my younger ones fed weekly at the moment because they're still growing. As soon as you see growth start to plateau, you really want to cut down on their food, and you want them to hold a steady weight rather than just increasing. Right, so that's mainly what I have to say about this enclosure. I'm going to take you through and show you the other 2 that I have for younger snakes that are a bit smaller than Jack, and I'll show you how I've got those set up. So any questions about Jack's enclosure, let me know. Just say which enclosure that you have a question about, so it makes it a bit easier for me to answer your question properly. Okie dokie, so this is my hatchling or juvenile corn snake setup. So this is for a much smaller corn than Jackie. So currently my little snow corn Yuki lives in here. I'll just show you, she's at the back there, she's tucked away. I have the flash on because it's a little bit dark where I am at the moment. There she is. I won't disturb her. As I said, I just fed the corns yesterday. But you can see in here, so Yuki has a hide over here. Now this is her hot hide. Underneath the substrate here is a Repti carpet. You can see it's a very thin layer of substrate, and there's a carpet underneath there. Underneath the carpet is a heat mat, and below the heat mat is a thermal blocker. If you're going to use a heat mat in a vivarium that's made of wood, I would suggest putting a thermal block under your mat so you don't risk any fire really. You don't want any heat directed downwards, you want it all going up, and that way your thermostat's not going to get confused. Right, same as with Jack, I've got the LED lighting in here. Yuki's main source of heat is the heat mat, as I said. The light at the back there is for night lighting. And I use the same climbing structure that I ideally would like to use for all of them. I'll show you in a minute. Ziggy's enclosure doesn't have the same height on it, so it's a bit more difficult to give him climbing space. Right, so Yuki's got lots of little points of interest here. She's got a piece of bark that she likes to hide underneath sometimes. She's got the little skull here that she likes to sit on top of, her hot hide here, and her water bowl. If the sound in this video is messed up at all, it's because I'm holding my phone really far away from my face and not being smart about filming this. So yeah, that is a juvenile corn enclosure. As I said, all three of my corn snakes will be moving into a 4-foot stacking system, so they'll have more than double this amount of space and a good bit more height as well. So these enclosures are just temporary for young animals. I would not suggest keeping an adult corn in here. And quite frankly, Yuki won't be in here for much longer before she moves into an upgrade, so that's what we're working with. Corns, as I said, do like to hide. They like to burrow, so if you can give them a substrate that they like to burrow in, the Lignocell's brilliant. Aspen also works really well. I personally choose not to keep them on paper towels because I feel like they don't get to burrow in it, and they really do enjoy doing that. Leaf cover's great. They can climb in those vines. They can climb on the pretty much anything really. They're very good at climbing. And same again with the locking system. So I use the wedges in this enclosure here. I put one at the top and one at the bottom. Last but not least is my corn snake Ziggy's enclosure. So Ziggy is a diffused corn snake. There he is there. Just hoping for my camera to focus a little bit. There he is. Ziggy was my first ever corn snake. He's the middle-aged one of the group, so Jack is the oldest, Yuki's the youngest, and Ziggy's bang in the middle. But he was my first, and he's quite shy, but he's a lovely little snake once he's out and about. So you see Ziggy has his Exoterra hide here, which is on top of his heat mat. This Viv Exotic enclosure has a built-in glass panel at the bottom to house a heat mat, so you don't need to worry about thermal blocks, it's done for you. He's got all of his leafy coverage and everything. His little skull that he likes to sit and hide in at the front here. Ferns. He has a branch, but it's not giving him the height that I'd like to, so when he moves into his new enclosure, he'll have a lot more climbing space. This is his cooler hide, that's from Swell Reptiles. I actually really like that hide, and so does Ziggy, so that's great. And he's got his water bowl there. Ziggy's also on Lignocell. As far as lighting goes, I couldn't put the same LED strips that I have in the other enclosures in here, so I used a stick-on LED strip, which is working brilliantly, and the enclosure has these wonderful cable holes, so it's so easy to install everything. And as I said, Ziggy's also on a heat mat. He has the same temperature gradients as Jack, as does Yuki. You want to keep them at a nice 28 degrees Celsius on the warm side, and they can go down to as cool as room temperature on the cooler side, though I like to keep mine around 22 minimum really. So yeah, that's my bit about corn snakes. If you have any more questions about them, then do let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. I hope I've covered most things. Yeah, oh actually one more thing I think of, humidity. So a lot of snakes require quite specific humidity. Corn snakes not so much. You can keep their humidity between about 40% and 60% and they're going to do fine. Jack is in a room where the humidity is only 30%, and as long as I mist his tank when he's shedding, he does perfectly. So that's not something that you need to hugely worry about unless you live in a very humid country. So here in the UK it's not too much of a worry. But yeah, that's my corn snakes. Do let me know if you have any questions. If you liked the video, give it a like. If it's your first time at the channel and you enjoyed the content, then hit subscribe, and hopefully I'll be making more videos that you like soon. So cheers guys, I hope you're having a really good day. I'll see you around.